They wrote up a contract worth up to $800 million for consultants to find the root causes for them. But here's the problem. Walter Barnes III, the man who founded one of these companies that got the cash, was a known con man.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories 2 times a day, every single day, without fail, y'all. Now, check this out. Just a few days ago, y'all, we had a story about a $550 million fraud scam, whatever you want to call it, involving USAID. And today we're right back at you with an $800 million fraud scam, whatever you want to call it, involving USAID and involving some of the very same characters, y'all. Now listen, this is complicated. These things, they get all convoluted and complicated. So what I've done here is I have put this into a more easy to understand format. So you're going to see the article here. Okay, I'm going to scroll as if I'm reading the article, but I'm really going to be just pulling out bits and pieces so I can make this make sense for y'all. So the name of the article is USAID gave known con man $800 million contract to do Kamala's work on, quote, root causes of migration. So it's saying here that a con man got $800 million so that he could investigate the root causes of migration. You know, back when Kamala was the not border czar, you know, the person who was in charge of the border, but not the border czar. So let's dig into this, and I'm going to explain this to you. And I'm also going to bring a news report, which is going to help us understand. So I'm going to read, this is a dramatic tone, y'all. What if I told you the Biden administration gave an $800 million government contract to a company run out of a suburban Virginia home? Not like some office. What? 800 millies, y'all. What would you think? Would you think this would be run out of a maybe 2-3 story office building? Maybe 20, 30 offices? I don't know. You can employ a lot of people. This was just run out of somebody's house, y'all. This is home-based business. Even though the key person behind it had already been caught bribing officials to get other contracts. So this is how it happened. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, or call 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement, you're about to retire. Make sure your money's still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now, get the free information, and protect your precious retirement. President Biden's USAID, which stands for the U.S. Agency for International Development, handed out nearly $1 billion contract to a joint venture tied to Walter Barnes III, a man who had already pleaded guilty to bribing a USAID official to secure $500 million in previous contracts. Okay, y'all remember that from the other video? So let that sink in, y'all. The government knew this guy was corrupt. They had already formally ruled that he lacked honesty or integrity. But instead of blacklisting him entirely, they handed his company and its partner a massive $800 million contract to supposedly help fix the, quote, root causes of migration from Central America, the job, you know, that Kamala Harris was assigned to do. But some people say she never showed up for y'all. I'm not going to make an opinion on that, but you can do your own research on that one.
And we're learning now that she did what Joe did and tried to pass that work off onto someone else using USAID. They wrote up a contract worth up to $800 million for consultants to find the root causes for them. But here's the problem. Walter Barnes III, the man who founded one of these companies that got the cash, was a known con man. He just pled guilty to a decade-long USAID bribery scheme. And the government knew he was shady for years, even before they gave him all the money. In 2023, the USAID Inspector General said Barnes lacked honesty and integrity. But on the same day, he was awarded an $800 million contract. They had good reason to be suspicious. Over the years, Barnes secured big money deals by bribing USAID employee with pricey basketball suites, a trip to the vineyard, and even a down payment on a house. Isn't that nice? And once he got paid, Barnes burned through pallets of cash, doing everything but what we paid him to do. We reached out to Walter, never got back to us.
Now, Barnes's company is now called Vistance. Now, if you go back to the other video, you will notice Vistance shows up. It partnered with a tiny operation called Collaborate Up. This was run out of the Falls Church home, Falls Church, Virginia. And that's where the listed $800 million contract was listed to. According to Collaborate Up, they were going to fight irregular migration by tackling. Now, y'all, if you've been looking at all the Stacey Abrams stuff and all of this stuff, you should know there's one word or one term that has to come up. They're going to fight irregular migration, meaning people come to states without permission, by tackling climate change, y'all, disinformation, and diversity initiatives. And just to top it off, they brought on Mark Green, a former Republican. So this is not, y'all, this is not just Democrats, a former Republican congressman and Trump's own USAID director. This would have been former, okay, obviously, because at this point, Trump was no longer president. So Trump's own former USAID director was a senior advisor. So would y'all call that a conflict of interest? Now, here's where things get even more shady. Now, this is where y'all have to really pay attention. The contract was awarded through the 8A program, okay? This allows the government to skip open competition and award contracts to so-called disadvantaged businesses. Okay, so Barnes, he's a black business owner, so he used that status to get contracts directed to him, even though the actual work was being done by larger subcontractors, bribing officials behind the scenes. Now, that's what this article is alleging. The USAID officials taking those bribes, Roderick Watson, who supposedly received cash, fake paychecks, wedding expenses, Martha's Vineyard vacations, and even a down payment on a house. And yes, if you again go back to our previous report, he pleaded guilty. Despite all of this, USAID kept awarding fake contracts. In fact, even after they banned Vistance and Barnes in November 2023, the agency went ahead and finalized the $800 million migration contract that same day. Now, that's what this report alleges, okay? When one honest official at USAID tried to cancel the contract saying it was legally questionable, the companies actually took the government to court to try to force them to pay. And get this, while the legal fight was playing out, the Biden administration's GSA, General Services Administration, handed the same joint venture 2 more contracts, each lasting 5 years. One of them, awarded right after the 2024 election, had a theoretical cap of just under 1 trillion, y'all. That's what the TR. A trillion is 1,000 billion, y'all. A trillion is 1,000 times a billion. Okay, to get to $1 trillion, you can make 1,000 people billionaires. Okay, so y'all listen. This goes further and further and further. I just know that it's time for us to know what's going on with our money. Y'all might look around and say, "Hey, this is the richest country. This is the richest country." And I'm looking around. That's why my voice is going in and out. This is the richest country in the world. How? Where's the money? Where's the munaki? Where's the money going? Where's the moolah? Now you know. Now you know. So y'all, let me know, what do y'all think about this? I mean, I already know what you think about this, but what do you think? Do you think, I guess the big question for today's video is going to be, do you think that this stuff has stopped? We're finding out everything that happened under the Biden administration. Right now, there are hearings going on Capitol Hill about Biden, his cognitive situation while he was president. Some of this may have just been without his knowledge. I mean, I think that's best case scenario. So do you think that this is still going on, or do you think this is largely stopped? Let me know in the comments, y'all. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Y'all, I want to say I'm very honored that many of the listeners, many of you, my peopleses, are going to the link at paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, getting the information. And we've even had people who have put part of their retirement in gold, which I think I have done so myself. Okay. I think it's an excellent decision. Please just check out the information or call our people at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. Want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. We'll see you back in the next one.